My name is Jeremy. First off, thanks for your time. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your morning. I'm going to try and make it worth it. So a little bit about me. I grew up in Palmer Lake, about 30 minutes north of here. After high school, moved around a bit, went to school a bit, and then ended up back in Colorado Springs about 4 years ago. So I have been married to my lovely wife, Corin, for 4 years. We like to hang out in lawn chairs and laugh, and she renovates houses. She's a design coordinator at Anthropology, which is a clothing store up north. And like Adam said, TheWorley Co is one of my jams. I started that 3 years ago as a fun side project just to get my creative itch out, and it continues to be that. And a lot of people have resonated with the stuff we've made. We tried to make it like a social good brand. That was like when a lot of them were first coming out and kind of like gathering steam. We wanted the products to be more than just a product. We wanted it to have like a deeper story and to have more meaning than just like, here's a thing or here's a well-made thing. You know, like we wanted it to have more of a story. And I think we've accomplished that. We've got some really cool stories behind what we've been able to do through like the different sales, but then also it even goes as basic as like the tees that it's printed on, you know, are made by a company called Crochet Kids. They're not paying me for this, by the way, but Crochet Kids is super rad. Their business model, the way they do it, total trailblazers. Love those guys. And then as well, I am the co-founder of Welcome Fellow with these two goons, Adam and August. We started this place 12 months ago with the intent of just trying to be a place for creativity to happen in Colorado Springs. We kind of saw like the shifting tides of Colorado Springs, and we wanted to join in on that and be a space for creativity and events and cool stuff like this and good retail and whatnot. And it's been a hoot of a journey. Thank you to all of you that have come on the journey. It's nuts. And then I am a freelance designer, brand designer specifically. So at its most basic, that looks like I make logos, and then I help brands speak into every part of who they are. So that might look like marketing collateral, print, social media, etc. So brand guides and whatnot. So this is some of the stuff I got to do in the past year. It was a lot of fun. I love designing. It's super fun. I love the creativity, and it's like it makes me feel like a kid again, you know. And I think that's one of the reasons I love it. Is like, I think if anything like brings out that you know, childlike joy, there's a lot of value in that. And I'm super grateful to be able to do that and get paid decently as well to make it happen and see brands come alive. Here we go. Worley's Nuggets. Write some of this stuff down. I'm going to talk about freelancing, business, and making ideas happen. A lot of those are going to overlap. I'm going to say a lot of the same stuff over again, and that's good because it means it's important. So let's just write any questions down as well that you have. We're going to have a Q&A on the back end. So write your questions down, keep those top of mind, and we will get to those. The questions are totally like, I'm an open book, so we can get as vulnerable as you want, although that's uncomfortable. Freelancing. I have been freelancing for 3 years. I'm 26, so I'm not going to pretend like I'm this super seasoned entrepreneur that's making $150K a year. I don't, and I'm not. I am in the thick of it and just like cranking. I'm having a lot of fun through the process. I went full-time freelance in October. Before that, I was an art director at a small agency here in town, and then I was an email designer before that, and then worked a bunch of odd jobs, which are always super fun. Okay, client first. I think a lot of folks go into freelancing and they think like, I'm gonna make this awesome stuff and then people are just gonna come to me for all of my awesome stuff and they're just gonna want me so much just for all of me. Like, no, it's no. As I've gotten to talk with lots of successful freelancers and people in the business, one thing, reigns true through all of those is that they keep client first. Like, you're solving a problem, whether you're a designer or a photographer or a copywriter or a project manager, like you're helping solve a problem for them. So you are serving them, and you will crush it if you just keep that in mind, is it's client first. Like, your side projects are the time for you. Client work is not the time for you. It's the time for them. And so I think if you can keep that front of mind, they're gonna feel that huge. Your clients, and when you can communicate that value, that you're first and I'm just here for you, they will pay you a whole lot of money. Set up your bank accounts right. This goes not just bank accounts. It's like, lay the foundation for your business to succeed. Like, we all got into freelancing, for reason A, but then there's like all this other crap that like you didn't know about, or that you did know about, but it's like really important. Like, I've found probably 25% of my time is designing, and the other 75% is like trying to keep my head above water with like managing accounts, freaking sending emails, doing my bookkeeping and whatnot, and like nail that stuff at the beginning so it doesn't like bite you in the ass later on. Like, nail it down, freaking go to people that know, whether that's like, I kind of know, but engage people in resources, because they're like, we live in a time where there's just an insane amount of resources and there's really no excuse for like not having our shit together, at least partially. Okay, work hard, be on time, communicate. This is gonna be theme throughout. I'm convinced it's not that hard to like make a decent living if you just like work hard and you be on time and you communicate with your clients. It's really freaking simple. I think you work hard, you focus in the time that you've set aside for working. I think as entrepreneurs and freelancers, we can be in this delusion that like, just because we're doing stuff, it means we're working, and that doesn't. Like, just because you're like, there's lots of activity, that doesn't mean there's actual forward motion. And so, that kind of goes along with like, I look at it as a time budget. If you evaluate your time and what you're spending it on and doing, that I feel like goes into working hard. Because I've seen tons of people work 80-hour weeks, yet they get less done than me, and I probably pull a 50-hour week on average. Like, it's about the time that you are working, like work. Like, get off the social media and like dinking around Facebook and whatnot. Like, set aside time for social media. Do that if like that's your jam. But like, set aside time for working and work. So I recently got on this kick of this app called Noisely, and it plays. You can like set up all these super rad sounds. Noisely is also not paying me for this, but you can set up like raindrops and thunderstorms and forests and like running water, and like, so I noticed I got into all the like cognitive stuff behind focusing and working. So it ends up that like working to music can be less efficient because your mind is thinking about it, even if it's like music you like and whatnot. So thank you, Spotify, for your Discover playlist, but it's not a good time when I'm working. That's me. Okay, pursue more of the work you want. This was a huge one, like really influenced by my buddy Josh Ariza, who he actually founded Connecting Things out in Southern California. And like, if you want more, let's say you are a photographer and you want more editorial, then you need to do editorial on your own time so that you can go to those magazines and be like, yo, like, this is what I've done in the past, and this was like a self-initiated project, and I want to do this for you. Okay, like I have done that with like brands. If I want to do more brand work, I create brands on my own, and then I show them to companies. And like 90% of the time, when I get clients, they reference work that I've done. You know, so one example was Welcome Fellow was a massive project that was just like a fun experiment, right? And I've had numerous clients that referenced, I love this part and this part about Welcome Fellow, let's do that, you know? So like, do more of the work you want. Like, don't sit around and twiddle your thumbs and be like, oh, I wish I could just be hired as an illustrator more, or, you know, a fashion photographer or sports photography, or I wish I could be hired for, you know, novel copywriting. And it's like, if you want to like go do that in your spare time, it's probably more worth it for you to say no to a crappy job and use that time to make a project that's going to get you the next job. That was some great advice I got once. One cool story was this dude did illustrations on his lunch break just as a fun passion project, put them up on Instagram, and then it got picked up by a network, got picked up by a network, and it ended up turning this book and whatnot, just because he was just doing it in his free time. Like, do that. Worley Co is still just an experiment, but like I'm able to show that to brands, you know, as I pursue more of the work I want. Don't be afraid to ask. Do not buy into, or at least this is my perspective, is that it's much more about us going to the clients that we want to work for and saying, hey, I want to work for you, than them just like bowing to us. So if you want to work for, I'm trying to get into Patagonia right now. And so I'm like banging down Patagonia's door and sending them shirts and stuff. And I'm like, I want to work for you. Like, let's do this. You know, if you want to work for Nike, like find the people. There's different resources that I can mention to you later that like are super helpful in figuring out the people to talk to. But like, talk to those people, pursue the work you want. A big majority I have found is people going after that work. I know that's like a really tender subject because that's not what we're good at as creatives, is like asking for work feels weird and bad, but like, do you want it or not? Kind of like, if you want it, then like go for it. Okay, find a community and mentor. That's why we started Welcome Fellow, was we wanted to be a space for community, for people in creative services or people that are just creatively minded, creatively wired. So that ranges from like account managers all the way to illustrators and brand designers and, you know, marketing services. So it's all over the place, but it's all based around community. Be in a community. So whether that's here or Epicentral or Catalyst Campus, like, I don't care. You just need to, like, that is one thing that is critical, is being around people just for the sake of like having a good conversation, really. I mean, it's not all about networking and like taking from people. It's really just like make friends. Okay, moving on. Business. Try stuff, risk, learn. That is huge. Like, try stuff. So as I've like picked apart business and done all these like different projects and tried to make a bajillion different ideas happen, whether that's within Welcome Fellow or whether that's within like Worley Co, you've got to try it. It's really vulnerable and it's scary, but like, just do it. You like take the plunge. That's where community comes in handy, is that you're able to be like, you know, they're able to be like a safe space for you to try stuff, risks, and learn. I know a lot of people will say fail fast so that you can grow and move. I don't like the word fail. I think we should look at it from a different perspective. Like, fail has too much of a negative connotation. I think we should look at it as learning. So it's like, learn what doesn't work so that you can move on and learn and grow. But like, do it quick. Be okay with that. Like, if it's an emotional thing, then like mourn. If you're super bummed the idea doesn't work, mourn on it and then get up and move. Like, process it. Produce something where there's a legit need. It's awesome that you love to knit cat socks. You know, there's might not be a need for it in Colorado Springs. Maybe there's a need somewhere else, and you could like tap that via the internet. But like, be real with like, if there's a legit need with what you want to produce. I read a really cool book called $100 Startup, where they were like, the intersection of your passion and a legitimate need in the community is where you can make a lot of money. And I firmly believe that is like where you can find an intersection. Work hard, be on time, communicate. I'm not going to say any more on that. Like, it's really straightforward. It blows my mind. Like, there's plenty of work out there to be done. And like, you just have to be consistent and work hard and be on time and communicate with like where you're at. Like, if you're getting close to pushing the budget, then like shoot them an email and be like, hey, I'm looking at passing up the budget. Do you want me to like button this up right now, or do you want me to keep going? Like, be honest, be straightforward. Do your clients good, and they'll do you good. Learn from those that have gone before you. That's kind of one of the reasons we started connecting things, was we wanted to hear about what people have done before and kind of their jams and what they've like succeeded at, what they failed at. That can be directly in your vein of work. So if you're an illustrator, learning from, a dude like Luke Flowers or like Ben Liu, those can be super helpful, but it can also be helpful to learn from the photographer that has really succeeded in a whole nother vein. Collaborate, make friends. It's the exact same thing as what I said on the freelance side, is like, I think that rising tides, they raise all the boats. And so if we all, I think it's foolish to look at, if I'm a graphic designer, to look at another graphic designer as my competitor, because there's so much work. There's so many people, it's ridiculous. Like, it's so cool to see the coffee community here in the Springs. They're so collaborative. I think they're example number one of like how, they could so easily be like, no, like craft coffee is a niche. It's growing huge, but like it's a niche, and it'd be easy to say like, no, I'm gonna stay away. Like, we're just gonna like put up our fences. But like, really, come on. There's like 500,000 people in Colorado Springs, and if like, I remember Tyler Hill telling me once, he's like, if like a quarter of those people all went out to coffee at one time, we would all blow up. Like, all the coffee shops would not be able to handle it. Like, take it into scale. Like, there's a lot of freaking people. So like, learn from each other, like put the fences down. Like, we're all on the same team. I just think it sucks when you see like businesses that are so intense in terms of like fighting against each other as competitors. Like, let's learn from each other. Yes, we're in the same space, but like, it's all good. There's plenty of people. There's plenty of work to be done. Making ideas happen. I have lots of ideas. I'm like, so on the scale of like idea maker and then like executor, we call this like finder grinder scale. I'm like a 5, so I'm right in the middle where I can be conceptual, and then I can also grind it out and make it happen. I like the 1 through 5 way more than grinding. I'm not super fond of that. Ideas are 20% though, and execution is the other 80%. This is not a legit stat. I invented it. I just think it's cool that you have lots of ideas, but until it actually turns into something, like, it doesn't really mean anything. Like, I have friends that like, just bitch about how, I could have thought of that idea. The Snuggie. Someone was like, someone thought of the Snuggie. Well, you didn't, like, you may have thought of it, but you didn't execute it. They put it together well, and they made it happen, and they found a market that wants to lay on the couch and whatever those are. No judgment. No judgment if you have a Snuggie. But it execute. That is like the 80%, but that's also the hardest part. It's kind of like, the idea is like getting to the base of the mountain, and then the other 80% is actually like climbing the mountain. Or, you could compare it to, the 20% is you get to the top of the mountain. It feels like you've won, but then you actually have to go down the mountain. And I feel like that is the crappiest part, is going down, because you like have, like, it hurts your legs because you have to, like, my knees are bad. And so it hurts. I don't climb 14ers for that reason. I ride bicycles. okay, know yourself and what you're good at. That goes along with the ideas are 20%, is like, do some soul work to like figure out what is your jam. Be honest with yourself. Maybe ask a couple of close friends. Close friends are, that is critical, not like the dude that sits across from you, at your co-working space. Like, do it, people that can really speak into your life, having them pick out, hey, you are good at this. Because you might feel you're good at X, Y, Z, but you're not, and it's okay that you're not. Just be honest with yourself. So then when you know yourself, now you can plug yourself into the process of, ideas coming to fruition. So if you are the person that is really good at creating the ideas and putting a team together, but you can't execute worth shit, that's okay. Just call it out and try and surround yourself with people that can help you execute. Like, we all desperately need each other. Like, I need, a 6 through 10 desperately because I need someone to help, take that thing to execution and to be consistent and to grind it out. Whereas on the flip side, they need me to come up with new ideas to keep growing the business and reinventing. Like, we all need each other. So figure out where you fit in that. If you're wanting to make an idea happen, figure out where you fit in that so that you can also get people around you that can make stuff like that happen. Social proof. Run your ideas by people. This is where little mini surveys are really helpful. We have here at Welcome Fellow, we have a digital membership where it's kind of like a space that we've created to connect creatives across Colorado Springs and to be a safe space for work critiques and talking about different resources that we've been using, or lately, money is a hot topic because of taxes. And so it's, we ask questions based around taxes and whatever, or we discuss connecting things. But that is where I've seen, some cool social proof happen, is someone saying, hey, I have this idea, or hey, here's this piece of work. Can you guys give me feedback? It's okay if your idea sucks. Just you do need to, it may seem brilliant to you, but throw it out to people. I think as well, you've got to let go of that fence mentality as well, that you can't let anybody know about your idea because they might steal it. Get over it. If it's your jam, you're gonna execute it well, and it doesn't matter if they hear your idea. But you need to throw your ideas to people so they can poke holes in it as well. I've found that, so my wife is a great sounding board. She probably hates me for it at times, but it's I throw ideas off her all the time, and she pokes holes in them, and says, this is the weak part of this. This is where I see it, failing. I do the same thing with Adam, as I run ideas by him, and I've had plenty of ideas, even about Welcome Fellow, where I've been this is it. This is next level shit. And then we discuss it, and I'm wow, that was a really bad idea. I'm glad I ran it by you though, so that it could be a safe space and I didn't go do it and then it failed, It's better to fail in a small controlled environment than big stuff. And that's be okay with putting ideas to death. You are not your work. That is, we had Rustin Coburn in here one time, and that was a really important evaluation, is you are not your work. I am not Welcome Fellow. This is a really awesome project. I put so much blood, sweat, and tears into it, but this is not me. So if this dies tomorrow, it's not. But if it dies tomorrow, that is not me dying, it's Welcome Fellow. Even the Worley Co, it would be easy to say, this is me. But it's hey, it's just an idea, it's a business, it's not you, let go. And then most things cost money. This is the last point before we jump into Q&A. Things cost money. This is a stupid point, really, it's so basic. But figure out, I see a lot of times folks that will come up with these awesome ideas, but then it's to be effective and to grow and to accomplish your mission, you need to have money. to like make stuff happen. And that's, money's not dirty or bad. It like makes things go, you know? So like Lawrence Wagner was here last month, and he talked about in social enterprise how you need to have cash flow. Like, it's basic. You need to have cash flow. It doesn't mean you don't do a ton of good stuff with your time and with your energy and resources, but like make sure that like you have money coming in and there's like a sustainable way to make it happen. Welcome Fellow is an example where, you know, we're so community minded and we want all this like good stuff to happen, but we need cash flow to make it happen. Like, we've got to keep the lights on, you know, and make some money on investment and whatnot to like make it worth it. Like, money's not dirty. We didn't start Welcome Fellow to be rich, but we need money to come in so that we can continue to be effective, and that's totally okay. So, all right, Q&A time.